You are sitting in the cockpit of a MiG-17 fighter jet, hurtling through the skies of North Vietnam at 500 miles per hour. The metal skin of your jet is rattling violently under the immense G-force. Below you, the lush green jungle is a blur of emerald and brown. Above you, two supersonic American F-4 Phantoms are closing in fast. Your aircraft is old, slow, and completely outclassed. You have no radar to detect the enemy. You have no heat-seeking missiles to fire from a distance. Your cockpit is hot, cramped, and smells of hydraulic fluid and sweat. All you have are 3 manual cannons and your own eyesight. But you are not running away. Instead, you pull back on the control stick, banking hard into a steep climb to meet the supersonic invaders head-on. How did a simple farmer from the Mekong Delta, who did not even know what a jet engine was until his 20s, become the most feared fighter ace in the skies of Vietnam? To understand this aerial mystery, you must go back to the year 1936 in the quiet province of Dong Tap. Here, in the sleepy village of Lai Vung, a boy named Nguyen Van Bay is born into a large family of poor farmers. Life is a constant struggle against the mud, the heat, and the endless work in the rice paddies. Your childhood is spent on the back of a water buffalo, guiding it through the flooded fields. You do not go to a modern school. You only manage to complete the 3rd grade before you must work full-time to help your family survive. By the time you turn 16, your parents decide it is time for you to marry a local girl. But you have other plans. You do not want a quiet, arranged life in the village. Under the cover of darkness, you run away from home, walking for miles to join the local revolutionary fighters. In 1954, after the end of the war against the French, you are sent to North Vietnam as part of the military regrouping. Your life is about to change forever. In 1960, the military high command begins searching for young men to train as pilot candidates for the newly formed Air Force. The examiners look at your physical condition. You are small, thin, but incredibly tough and healthy from years of farm work. You pass the physical exam with perfect marks. But there is a massive problem. To fly a jet aircraft, you must understand complex physics, mathematics, and navigation. You only have a 3rd grade education. How do you teach a semi-literate farmer to pilot a machine that flies close to the speed of sound? The solution is an intense, accelerated educational program. For the next 2 years, you are sent to a special school where you must learn several years of curriculum in just a few months. You study from morning until late at night, memorizing formulas and principles of aerodynamics. In 1962, you are sent to China to begin actual flight training. You start on simple propeller trainers before moving up to the legendary MiG-17. The transition is terrifying. You go from walking behind a slow water buffalo to controlling a roaring machine with over 6,000 pounds of thrust. Your instructors are strict, but you are a natural pilot. You develop an instinctive feel for the aircraft, sensing its movements through the seat of your pants. By 1965, as the United States escalates its air war over North Vietnam, you return home. You are now a fully qualified fighter pilot in the 9023rd Fighter Regiment. But the war you are entering is an aerial David versus Goliath. Your primary weapon is the MiG-17. It is a subsonic aircraft, meaning it cannot fly faster than the speed of sound. It is heavy, maneuvers poorly at high altitudes, and lacks any radar or guided missiles. To hit an enemy, you must fly close enough to see the rivets on their wings and shoot them with your heavy cannons. Your opponents are flying the most advanced aircraft in the world. The American F-4 Phantom II and F-105 Thunderchief are supersonic jets that can fly at twice the speed of sound. They are equipped with powerful radars and carry radar-guided Sparrow missiles and heat-seeking Sidewinder missiles. A Sidewinder is a missile that detects the heat from your engine and guides itself to destroy you from miles away. The American pilots are highly trained graduates of elite military academies. On paper, your MiG-17 should be shot down before you even know the enemy is there. How do you survive, let alone win, against such overwhelming technological superiority? The secret lies in changing the rules of the engagement. You and your comrades develop a set of tactics designed to exploit the weaknesses of the heavy American jets. Since the Americans rely on speed and long-range missiles, you must force them into a dogfight. A dogfight is a close-range aerial battle where aircraft turn tightly to get behind one another. At low altitudes and slower speeds, the MiG-17 is incredibly nimble. It can turn much tighter than the heavy F-4 Phantom. You learn to hide your aircraft in the shadows of the mountains, flying just feet above the jungle canopy to avoid American radar. When the American strike packages fly past, You dive from above like a pouncing tiger. This tactic is known as the tiger pounce. You close the distance rapidly, getting so close that the Americans cannot fire their missiles without risking blowing themselves up. Your first major test comes on June 19, 1965. You are flying as a wingman to the experienced pilot Tran Han. Your formation is sent to intercept a group of U.S. Navy F-8 Crusaders over Son La. The combat is chaotic. You see the sky fill with tracer rounds and smoke trails. Although you do not score a victory on this day, you gain invaluable experience. You learn to control your fear, to keep your eyes scanning the sky, and to trust your machine. Your first official aerial victory happens on June 21, 1966. You are patrolling the skies over Thuong Tin when you spot an F-8 Crusader piloted by a U.S. Navy commander. You dive onto the tail of the American jet. The pilot tries to shake you off, pulling hard turns that subject your body to intense G-forces. A G-force is the force of gravity exerted on your body during rapid acceleration or turning. At 6 Gs, your body feels 6 times heavier, and blood begins to drain from your brain, threatening to make you pass out. You fight through the grayout, keeping your gun sight centered on the Crusader. At a range of just 80 yards, you press the trigger. Your heavy 23mm and 37mm cannons roar, ripping the wing off the American fighter. The pilot ejects, and you head back to base. The American pilots begin to realize that the skies over North Vietnam are far from safe. But your greatest achievement occurs on September 21, 1966. You are flying in a flight of 4 MiG-17s over Chi Linh when you are jumped by a large formation of F-4 Phantoms and F-105 Thunderchiefs. The sky is a hornet's nest of supersonic jets. You lock onto an F-105 Thunderchief that is carrying bombs to strike a nearby target. The Thunderchief pilot dumps his bombs and climbs, trying to use his superior engine power to escape, but you anticipate his move. You cut inside his turn, closing the distance. You fire a short burst from your cannons, and the F-105 explodes in a ball of orange fire. As you turn away, you spot another target. An F-4 Phantom is trying to engage your wingman. You bank hard, pull the stick, and dive behind the Phantom. The American pilot sees you and begins a series of desperate maneuvers, but your subsonic MiG-17 tracks him perfectly through the turns. You wait patiently for the right moment. When his aircraft fills your sight, you fire. The cannon shells strike the cockpit and engines of the Phantom, sending it spiraling into the ground. In a single day, you have shot down 2 of the fastest and most advanced fighters in the American inventory. Historians like Istvan Topurcher have documented these air battles in detail, verifying your achievements through both VPAF archives and U.S. military records. By the end of 1967, you have flown 94 combat missions. You have engaged the enemy 13 times and scored 7 confirmed aerial victories. You are now officially a fighter ace. An ace is a pilot who has shot down 5 or more enemy aircraft in combat. In recognition of your incredible skill and bravery, you are awarded the title of Hero of the People's Armed Forces. You are personally met by President Ho Chi Minh, who praises your journey from a simple peasant to a defender of the skies. To prevent the loss of such a valuable national symbol, the military command decided to pull you from active combat duty, transitioning you to training the next generation of fighter pilots. When the war finally ends in 1975, you continue to serve in the Air Force, eventually rising to the rank of senior colonel. But you never lose your connection to the land. You do not seek fame, political power, or a comfortable life in the capital city of Hanoi. In 1989, you officially retire from the military. Instead of staying in the city, you pack your bags and return to your roots in the Mekong Delta. You build a simple house in Lai Vung, the same village you ran away from decades ago. You spend your days wearing a simple farmer's shirt, digging a pond to raise fish, and planting fruit trees. The hands that once controlled a jet fighter are now covered in soil, holding a shovel and tending to orange trees. Years later, a group of retired American fighter pilots, including veteran Ralph Wetterhahn, travel to Vietnam to meet their former adversaries. They expect to meet a stern, decorated military officer in a grand villa. Instead, they are led to a rustic orchard in the Mekong Delta. There, they find a smiling old man sitting on a wooden stool, wearing a simple shirt and offering them fresh fruit and tea. As you sit with your former enemies, sharing stories of the dogfights over Hanoi, there is no hatred or anger. The American pilots are amazed by your humility and your incredible journey. They look at your hands, rough from farming, and realize the immense skill it took to fly that manual MiG-17 against their supersonic jets. Nguyen Van Bay passed away in September 2019 at the age of 83. His story remains a testament to the power of human determination, showing that technology is only as good as the person operating it. You are sitting in the cockpit of a MiG-17 fighter jet, hurtling through the skies of North Vietnam at 500 miles per hour.